It's a meeting real quick, but if you want to take a quick second.
All right, Dr. John, WFNC this morning with Goldie. Yeah. We're planning to follow up on the Religious Freedom Bill, and I guess related to the magistrate bill. Will you veto those bills if they go on?
I never talk about whether I veto or not. My goal is not to have them get through the legislature as they currently stand. But, you know, I don't know how much more I can say about it. I think at this point in time, both nationally and statewide, the politics on the left and the right are kind of manufacturing an artificial crisis. And the media's enjoying it. But, you know, I also disagree with these other governor friends of mine who are boycotting states because of disagreements of one state's bills versus another. I don't know where that war would end, and I disagree with that overreaction on the left. And I state with my same thing to my friends who are introducing such bills. I still haven't figured out what the need is. I'm starting to clearly understand maybe why, in fact, Senator Jesse Helms voted against the original bill when it was introduced to the Senate. He was one of only, I think, 3 senators who voted against it. Maybe he had good reason to do it.
Governor,
I'm going to focus on those issues that are most important to the people of North Carolina. And not one time during my tenure has this issue ever been brought to my attention while running for office or while holding office until the last week and a half or 2 weeks. So I'm still trying to figure out what problem is trying to be solved by this.
Governor, I also want to ask your initial reaction to the abortion legislation that was filed yesterday. What was your take?
I have not had a chance to see that. I'm sorry, there's well over 100 bills being, I've not had a chance to see all the bills at this point in time.
Well,
I've been on the road for a day and a half.
Any sort of legislation tackling abortion, just in the same light of what you were just talking about, you know, that this is, instead of a focus on the economy, it's more of a social.
Again, I haven't had a chance to see the bill. I'm not going to respond to a bill that I haven't had a chance to see, but again, I have made a commitment to put my primary focus on jobs, on education, and building the economy. And that's where I'm going to keep my focus on. Understand that there are other important issues, but that's where I'm going to spend my time management is being spent on those items that are most important to the people of North Carolina. Not saying these other issues aren't important, but this is where I'm spending the part of my time and my focus.
You won't sign them, but you're not going to say you're going to veto them.
Again, I was asked in that radio interview, I was asked if I would sign it, but again, I don't respond to what I'll do. There are several hundred bills right now being introduced, but I've clearly stated my objection. I stated my objection to one of the bills probably over 4 weeks ago. So I haven't stated anything new just because of the Indiana situation, but I do think there's been a kind of an overreaction from both the left and the right, and I think it's becoming kind of an artificial or manufactured movement on both sides. And I don't know what's driving that movement. It might be fundraising by both the left and the right and media attention, when I think most people are interested in focusing on the issues that are most important to Americans at this point in time.
What's that activity you do on the weekend? You said something about it's like a religious group that you have, like you mentioned it to Goldie this morning.
I just have I don't talk about it much, but I every week I have a little group that I meet with.
It's like
study group.
Bible study?
A study group, yeah, absolutely. I've been doing that for years. I have a Bible study group every week. I've been doing it for probably over a decade now.
Thank you.
Any questions on why we're here today?
Yeah.
See, isn't that interesting?
Y'all are being distracted too. That's why I even include the media distraction in
There's a legislative effort to rescue.
This is about education.
A Raleigh charter that's in trouble.
Yeah.
You know, it's been the state board wants to shut it down because of bad finances, questionable education goals. I'm wondering whether you think the state should take on responsibility for that school so that it can survive as a pilot program.
I'm not. You'd have to give me more information on that specific program. I have been. I've stated very strongly in the past that we expect very high standards for our charter schools, and this is a great example of one that's not only meeting those standards, but it looks like it's exceeding the standards. Looking at the waiting list for this school is showing that there's a high demand for high quality schools, whether they be public charter schools or traditional public schools. But to know that we have to have a lottery to fill this school, and there will be people being left out the lottery, obviously shows that there's a high demand for these educational choices, which is something I promoted as governor. Educational choice is very, very important for parents and for children. And I think they have, how many students you have? 600. And how many people are on the way? How many people applied in the lottery now?
1,500 last year, 1,200 this year.
1,200 people applied that wanted to be in the school.
Should the state do something to encourage quicker expansion of charters?
I think we've got to make sure the process is both quick and fair. But at the same time, we also have to demand high standards. And I don't want to politicize those standards. I want to do it based upon fairness, based upon thorough but quick deliberation. So students and teachers can make the right, students and parents can make the right decisions for their families. And that's why it's got to be deliberate, but within a schedule that is conducive to what our customers are demanding throughout the state.
Governor, would you support the expansion of the school voucher program, which of course is paid for with public funds but has almost no curricular standards or accountability to the public?
Well, again, I think I've supported some school vouchers for those students who can't get their particular needs within the current public school systems, and that's what I currently have in my budget at this point in time. Thank y'all very much. Appreciate it. Thank y'all very much.